All right. So I came across this, right? This woman here, and she was being interviewed by Tucker Carlton. And I want to play some of this.
Tucker Carlson.
Tucker Carlton.
Carlton. Oh, God.
That reality would make me very nervous. So,
okay.
So I think there's something there worth understanding. The other thing is it appears to me, if you go back through history, every 10,000, 12,000 years, we have, some kind of huge disaster.
An extinction event.
A near extinction event. So I don't know if you've ever read the science fiction book, Three-Body Problem.
No.
It's fascinating. It's one of the top Chinese science fiction, and it's about
I've read no Chinese science fiction.
Okay.
I'm feeling very ignorant this morning.
No, because here's the thing. I'm just trying to figure out what in the world's going on.
Yeah, amen. Well, I'm in the same place.
And so that always, as you know, that always leads you to the most.
It does.
Right.
It does.
Right. So in one, I think the thing that got me to read Three-Body Problem was Obama made some cryptic comment about people ought to read this book. It was like, hint, hint, here are the problems I'm dealing with. And the Three-Body Problem is about other bodies that come into the solar system, and it's impossible to predict their trajectory, and then when they do, they create this catastrophic flooding and earthquakes and all this other stuff. Anyway, but I think that whether it's a pole shift, magnetic pole shift is one of the theories of what causes these events. But there is a history of near extinction events. And one of the things that I've looked at, because I'm trying to figure out, between fiscal 1998 and fiscal 2015, there were 21 trillion of undocumentable adjustments in the U.S. government. If you go to our website, missingmoney.solera.com, we have years and years of documentation, including the government financials that show this. And so the question is, where's all this money going? And one of the things I've looked at in the process of looking at where all this money is going is the underground base and city infrastructure and transportation system that's been built. And
I'm sorry?
Yes. So we have built an extraordinary number of underground bases and supposedly transportation systems. Some of these are some of these are documented as part of the national security infrastructure. I think there are many more. So
in the United States?
In the United States, and all over the world. But from 2021 to 2023, I took one of the smartest subscribers in the Solera Report network, and he and I spent 2 years collecting all the data and all the allegations on underground bases. And then we systematically went through and tried to estimate our guess. This is totally a guess of how many underground bases, both underground in the United States, but also underground under the ocean around the United States. And our estimate was 170 with a transportation network connecting them.
And what would be the purpose?
The purpose, if you thought you were going to get a near extinction event, so there, to me, there are two purposes. You have so many activities going on that you need to keep secret that you're basically building the capacity to, for example, if you're doing a secret space program, you need to platform it from, things that can't be seen. But I think if you're worried about a near extinction event, that's.
So I know nothing about this other than my only window into it. I knew a contractor who worked on one in Washington, in the city of Washington, D.C. Right. And I remember him telling me about a power box, like a transformer box on Constitution Avenue that he told me, because he worked on it personally, was actually the exit, the egress from the White House. That was kind of by vehicle. I thought that was, I was like, really? He goes, oh yeah, no, I installed it, I know. And I thought, well, that's kind of crazy that in the middle of this big city where I was on Constitution Avenue every day, that you could build something like that without me knowing it. Under the VP's house at the Naval Observatory, same thing. I think most people know that. next to my brother's house on Macomb Street in DC.
So
Also, like, but I always thought that was like preparation for nuclear war. Like, I didn't really think about it that
some
much.
of it is, yeah, it's preparation for catastrophe.
So, but you think that there are
what are we looking at? What's this about?
So it's about doomsday. So apparently the federal government has secretly spent trillions building an elaborate network of subterranean cities where the rich and powerful can shelter during near extinction.
Yeah, rich and powerful are going to get down there with the typical crowd in New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, or whatever, letting them get down there. It ain't going to happen.
And
Next thing,
she's a former Bush official.
maybe what the government needs to pay attention to is the fact that we're long overdue for a large asteroid or comet strike. And statistically, we're on borrowed time with that. There's also the problem with Betelgeuse or Betelgeuse, a nearby supergiant red star that looks like it's going to go nova any minute. It may have already gone nova, but we wouldn't know it until the nova wavefront hit because it's 500 light years away, and it may have already happened. So we'd get fried, and there's been some problems with some real mass extinctions. Now, I had a minor in vertebrate paleontology, and I'm not buying what she's talking about a major extinction event every 12,000 years. There isn't, except in the last 12,000, we do seem to have killed off on the North American continent all of the horses. The Native Americans ate them. They got reintroduced from the ones that spread to Europe. We seem to have gotten rid of mastodons, mammoths, and woolly rhino around the world because people ate them up.
Well, it says it's a $300 million members only luxury doomsday bunker with AI powered medical suites and indoor pools.
Okay, fine. That would be great if they could get down there. And ordinary folk wouldn't crash the place. And ordinary people wouldn't crash the place. It might work, but you know.
Well, I think that ordinary people don't know about it because now when you say if they get down there, here's the thing. If let's just say it is an asteroid headed for Earth,
that wouldn't do much anything.
Let me the government probably wouldn't let us know.
They would. See,
the general population, because it'd be chaos.
No, it ain't gonna be chaos. You know what's wrong with what happened with COVID-19? Because they applied that stupid theory. It's been a sci-fi cliche for 100 years. You can't tell the people what's going on because they'll panic. So that seems to have been what happened with COVID-19. People couldn't be told. They had to get some coherent story to pacify them. And then when it started to fall apart, people lost confidence in the official agencies who misled them. So that doesn't work. It never has. And people aren't all that weak. They are quite resilient. I mean, look at the occupants of Berlin, Stuttgart, London, Liverpool, Tokyo, Dresden, Stalingrad, who got, pretty well bombarded or blasted during World War II. They didn't go nuts and go crazy. They hung on and they managed. So humans
would you want to go to a bunker, or would you just die?
I'd probably take the bunker for a little time and see what was left when it came back up. But meanwhile.
So you talking, but you just said I didn't know what is she talking about.
Yeah, well, I mean, but
you didn't believe her, but now you say you go down to the bunker.
The thing is they've got miles and miles of abandoned or neglected subway tunnels in a lot of big cities, from Moscow to New York to Chicago, that are 7-8 layers deep underground. And they've been there for the last 130 some years, if not longer. And a lot of them people have even forgotten about because they've been walled off. But there's a lot of stuff down there. Basically, the rats are having a good time, but you know, people could be down there. But it's interesting.
I don't want to go underground, honey, because you it's like you buried alive.
You may need it for temporary thing. I mean, they went underground a lot in Berlin, Tokyo, Moscow, London, Liverpool, when they'd have those air raid sirens going off and they'd have the bombing raids. World War II. We never dealt with it in America, but we did have something comparable to it in 1861 through 1865. The South, General Sherman,
I believe in Jesus.
Georgia, when he said war is hell.
I believe in Jesus. What's meant to be will be. Or I don't want to be buried alive. Okay, listen. If there is an asteroid that, like, say if it's something catastrophic, the end of humanity, right? How many years you think you're gonna be living down in that bunker?
Dinosaurs got wiped out except for the bird form, so we still have birds. Mammals, let's just say
it's a nuclear war, right? And we get hit with a nuclear bomb. You can't live around in that area for a very long time. So
yeah, but we're not talking about nuclear war. We're talking about natural disasters.
Natural disasters, even that. It's like the problem. You can't come up to surface until after some decades because it won't be livable.
It's not going to be radioactive if that happens. What winds up going on is even what wiped the dinosaurs is you got kind of an extended winter where stuff stopped growing. And you needed a shelter from the initial circumstance for the couple of days afterwards. You get something that's 9 to 15 miles wide, moving at 85,000 miles an hour, strikes the wrong place on the planet, you start getting a lot of nasty stuff that's up in the air that comes down and sets fire to everything.
What is going on with him? So